This is San Diego News Daily.
Hello and welcome to San Diego News Daily. I'm Dana Williams. First up, a family of 5 is searching for answers this morning after they were displaced by a house fire in Clairemont. Smoke and fire destroyed most of the home, and neighbors blame the strong winds for the extent of the damage. NBC 7's Dave Summers spoke with one of the victims and witnesses who tells us more about this close call.
Fire and smoke tore through the home on Marble Way near Conrad Avenue. Strong winds pushed it toward several cars parked in the driveway.
It's a shell. There's nothing inside. It's gone. All of it.
Gazelle wished to be identified only by her first name. She and a friend were away getting food for the family when the fire broke out. Gazelle says family members, including an infant and 4 adults, escaped with their lives and little else. Many of the family photos and keepsakes are damaged.
It's gone inside. Everything's gone.
When Gazelle returned, she went inside the house, evidenced by the soot that collected on the side of her face.
I try to go in, to get like my mom's medicine.
Mia Basil and her family own the home.
They said it was an electrical thing that they heard popping.
She says 2 bedrooms, a bathroom, kitchen, and shed were destroyed.
Definitely could have made much worse. Someone could have gotten hurt.
Witnesses agree the fire started outside on this side of the house.
The heat was very intense. Even as soon as I stepped out of my house, I could already feel the heat.
Neighbor Carola Sedano says loud popping sounds caught her attention. She said it sounded almost like gunfire, but realized it was a house fire when she went outside.
The flames were just so high, and it was very overwhelming and very, very, very scary.
Responding firefighters are calling it an accident. No evidence of arson. The house is unlivable now after the family spent 17 years making it a home. In Clairemont, Dave Summers, NBC 7.
Before the strong winds came the strong storms. Last week, San Diego saw a month's worth of rain just within a few hours. Flooding was especially rough in low-lying areas like Mission Valley, where business owners are still recovering from this damage. One of those businesses that was hit especially hard was Native Poppy Flower Shop. Owner Natalie Gill says the floodwater was so strong it toppled over the cement wall of her warehouse. Gallons of water damaged one of their delivery vans and really anything within 3 feet of the ground. Gill says her team was able to recover faster this time around since her shop flooded in 2024 too.
I just said, it's happening again, my heart is racing, I'm just panicking. Like it's so frustrating because we kind of knew it would happen again and we prepared for that.
Understandably, Natalie says she is over it and she's working to move their shop so the next time that storm comes, they will not have to deal with the problems again. And emergency repairs are underway in Carlsbad after a huge chunk of the bluffs collapsed following the recent storms and damaging a drain pipe. The city of Carlsbad proclaimed a storm-related state of emergency this week to make repairs. Crews have already fenced off the area and will begin work to fix it next week. NBC 7 spoke with Carlsbad homeowner Ann Hampton, who was actually the one who reported the issue to the city after noticing something wasn't right.
I kind of took a couple steps into the ice plant and you could see a huge hole. And then when you looked into the hole, you could see a drainage pipe was like askew and water was coming out. And then when I tried to look again, it was like so deep you couldn't even see the bottom of it.
Oh, I'm relieved she was looking where she was going. The city says after investigating, crews noticed more erosion in the area and determined the storm drain pipe was damaged. Construction is expected to take several weeks. And while the damaged area has been fenced off, the city is warning anyone who walks by it to be very, very careful and pay attention to signs in the area. And there will be more major road work on right next to the border this coming weekend. That's happening on I-5 South at the San Ysidro port of entry. The closure will shut down one lane inside near the center median. It started yesterday morning and will go on until January 23rd. The work will remove speed bumps and replace concrete barriers. Drivers instead are urged to use the Otay Mesa port of entry. And we do have another important heads up. If you were planning to take the train up the coast this weekend, all coaster and Amtrak train service between San Diego and Oceanside will be suspended this weekend and then again in 2 weeks. This is for maintenance and construction. including work to shore up the Del Mar bluffs. And there is another weekend closure I mentioned. That one is coming up in February. Also, if you live in certain parts of downtown, get ready for sounds of construction while you're sleeping. MTS says they will be doing overnight maintenance until the beginning of next month. An MTS spokesperson told NBC7 the work would be confined to this area that you see, and they're calling that the downtown loop. Construction will be happening between 11 at night and 4 in the morning, 6 nights a week until February 4th. They didn't clarify where work would take place and on what nights. Trolley service will not be impacted during construction. All right, our NBC7 meteorologist Brooke Martell will have a look at your weather right after this.
You count on breaking news
People running in the streets, they have their kids, they have their pets.
and help preparing for the unexpected.
Small fire right now. We'll keep an eye on it.
You count on stories from your community. You count on getting different points of view
We're still human.
and your voice being heard.
We need help.
You count on in-depth reporting
It's a mess, and it's making people sick.
because you know the whole story is more than just the headline. This is coverage you count on, only on NBC7 and Telemundo 20.
Happy Saturday. Lots going on across the county for today, especially on the weather front here. It was a chilly start to the morning. We had a mix of 30s and 40s over the mountains, some 40s over those inland valleys, even along the coastline. But the main headline today, still the wind, Santa Ana. So we have an advisory and a warning in place because of that. And looking ahead to next week, warmer temperatures on tap. I'll show you that coming up in the 10-day forecast. But here's that high wind warning. This is just for the mountain communities, and this extends, as you can see, along the I-8 for commuters going east beyond Pine Valley. There could be some danger associated with this just because those winds can be so strong, up to about 60, 80 miles per hour possibility. We saw that in the overnight hours. So just be mindful out on the roads if this is part of your commute. In the meantime, west of that area over your inland valley communities, we have that wind advisory in effect that will also expire tomorrow at 1 o'clock. And it's because these winds over that area could actually still gust around 30 to 50 miles per hour. Here's a look at the futurecast wind speed. So you can see just how concentrated some of this is. This is around 3:45 this afternoon. Those Santa Anas funneling into the valleys, bringing that compressed, really dried out air, and that's what lowers the fuel moisture and vegetation. Although I will note that the fire danger is not as high, and it's because of the recent rain. I'll show you more details on that in just a moment, but these winds will continue close to the coast. I would say places like Encinitas have a good chance of having just steady winds throughout this afternoon. As we get into tonight, the winds are still a factor over the higher elevations in the valleys, but they still start to taper off a little bit as we get into Sunday afternoon and the start of next week. So here's a recap for the Santa Anas. Overnight, clear skies, chilly overnight lows. Daytime, like I said, that air compresses through the mountains, really dries out the conditions, and the fire danger, back to that. It is still there, but it's not as high because of how much rain we got just last week, and then also really since the start of the water year. Daytime highs look like this, 60s and 70s along the coast. Same deal goes for your inland valley communities, but we're cooler over the mountains and from the 40s and 50s today. We'll have some 60s in the mix over your desert region. And I just have to show you this, the drought monitor. Maybe you've seen it even circulating across social media because we don't have any drought conditions across the entire state. And this is the first time this has happened in about 25 years. So we really like to see this here as we go into even just the start of the winter season. Now for the 10-day forecast here, you can see those temperatures from the low to mid 70s along the coastline as we start out this upcoming week. Daytime highs will peak by midweek. That goes for the inland valley communities. And as we get into next weekend, still hanging on to those warmer temperatures. Same deal will go for the coastline. We'll get those mid 60s back for the mountain communities, even the desert region, getting out of those 60s and back to nearly 80 degrees next week.
Wow, Brooke, thanks so much. We appreciate it. And Monster Jam is back at Snapdragon Stadium starting today. 26 million pounds of dirt has been brought in for the massive trucks to do their jaw-dropping stunts. It takes about 18 hours to prepare the field. All in all, it's 3 weeks of motorsports at Snapdragon with Monster Energy AMA Supercross taking place between the two Monster Jam events.
No, we'll leave it. Supercross will come in, bring more dirt in, build their jumps, and then they'll leave it, and we come in and we'll build our jumps out of their dirt, then we move it all out when we're done.
Seems pretty simple, right? Monster Jams takes place today and tomorrow at Snapdragon Stadium, and then you heard them again on January 24th and 25th. And there's more coverage you can count on at NBC7.com, and you can always find us on your Roku or your Samsung Smart TV app. Thanks so much for watching. I'm Dana Williams.